Kathy with 3-Minute Piano Lessons. So today's video, we're going to pick up where we left off. Actually, we were working with the C chord in the left hand, and we had learned the low C, D, and E. Remember, this is your middle C. There's only one place for this middle C. It's up here. There's only one place for the low C, which is an octave below, and it's in space number 2 in the F clef. There's your D, stepping up, right, space, line, and here is your E. So new notes that we were working with, and so what we did yesterday, or in the last video, we built a 1 chord on C, and we use C, E, and G to do that, okay? So when you have a 1 chord on C, then the notes that are very, very friendly, of course, to C, E, G, down here, which makes up this 1 chord, would be C, E, G up here. Not that you can't use D and F, but it will be definitely very nice if you put some notes that belong to that chord into the right hand. So let's say we just start with C, and we could skip E, and I wanted to introduce you to an 8th rest. So let's put an 8th rest in here. That's a little rough. It's a little slanted normally. And let's put a F. And let's turn that into an 8th note, because these together would get 1 beat. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that would sound like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That actually goes okay with that C chord. For one thing, the F is short. So when you write music and it doesn't necessarily belong to the chord, then they're called passing tones. And we can talk more about that, especially when you get into the running 8th notes. So that's something to learn, is that's that 1 chord, and the notes that go well with the 1 chord, of course, are C, E, and G, because they belong to that chord. So let's just continue on. So I introduced you, this is an 8th rest, an 8th note, again, all together, of course, that's going to get 1 beat. I've introduced you to the half rest, the whole rest. We've talked about 2nd intervals, 3rd intervals. So how about, let's, on this measure, cause this to become, well, I haven't talked about 5th intervals, but how about that, okay? So 5 up from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the G. We're just leaving out the 3rd. And since we did, let's put the 3rd up here, which would be E. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm just playing around with these notes that we know in the C position. And let's do G up here, and back to E, and G. Okay, and another thing about writing is this is called an open 5th. So you kind of want to be careful using that, because it can sound kind of bland, because it's not very, that's leaving out that 3rd, which gives it the full, more of a harmony. This is a 5th. So you can see it's just kind of lacking on the harmony part. But everybody has their own, their own unique interest in music. And music has changed over the years, from way back in the 1700s, obviously, where you have the great classic musicians and how they compose their music as well. So if you're into 21st century music, there's really no rules to writing music, okay? They've broken all the rules. So here we go. Let's hear what we've done so far. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, I'll put that E in there. Let's hear it. Just an open 5th in the left hand with its E in the right. So there's our song so far. Let's see what more we should add. One thing about this, let's just make this G up here, and let's make it a half note. Let's step down, because we're coming down to C. We start in C and we're going to end in C. Now this would be like the first 4 measures, 1, 2, 3, 4 of our song. And so in the beginning of a song, you always kind of want to ask a question. And the great way to do that would be to end on the G that we know, because it's not coming back home to the tonic note or key note, which is C. So let's say, just to make this a little different here, let's put E and G together as half notes. We're just following here. And then let's put C, E as half notes as well. And let's hear what the song we've done. So. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so see, I left it on that G, and it's not. If I'd ended it like this on a C, listen to the difference. Boy, that was a wobbly C. And notice the syncopation, that's what you call it when you are not playing on the beat. So notice that when the count would be 1, 2, 3, but I'm not playing on that beat, I'm playing on the second half of the beat, and so it gives a syncopation, and that's what that is. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you would sound like you're at the end of the song. That's what I wanted you to hear. So that's why, unless you're ready to end a song, and there's not very many songs with only 4 measures, it's really not considered a song. Anyway, you'd want to end it with that question on G, like we're waiting to answer it. So the next line could be a little variation of what you just did here. Just change it up a little bit. Start with G maybe, and play E 2 times, or however you'd like your melody to go. And then if you wanted to end it and make an 8 measure, you could end it on a C and maybe a repeat sign, and you'd go back and play it again. That way you've already created 8 measures, and by repeating it, you've doubled that tune. So there's just some ideas on writing there. Now I want to talk about learning a few new notes. I've introduced you to the C scale in the left hand, the full C scale, and so I'd like to do the right hand full C scale. And the important thing is that we know that there's only A, B, C, D, E, F, G on that big long piano, and all these notes though have their own space or line to be in. So remember, that was this low C down here, and then you just move up, line, space, line, space. Remember that this F right here is a guide note. These are very important notes to learn and to be able to pick out really quickly. In fact, in my last video, I gave you you can look on my 3-minute piano lesson playlist, and you can find titles of guide notes. You can download those, and they're little worksheets where you can practice finding them. So here's C, F, and middle C, of course, is a guide note. So I'm always reviewing guide notes because, like I said, it's a great way, and repetition is the mother of learning. So if you're saying, wow, this woman keeps repeating herself, yes, I do. Okay, so here is G, and this is also a guide note. I'm not putting any stems on them, so they look a little strange, I know. So let's do that. And now this C up here is up in this space, number 3, because we always count from the bottom up. Space 1, 2, 3, and there is your C. And C is a guide note. So these are very important notes to know. So let's learn. We know C, D, E, F, G. Remember, you're moving. Line, space right here is D. E is your first line note. That E, F. So these are your right hand notes. Now we're going to learn A. Stem goes up because we haven't hit that 3rd line yet. Here's the B.